Next, we are going to discuss Introduction to OSI model. Since the user of the computer network are located over a wide physical range, that is all over the world. So therefore, to ensure the nationwide and worldwide data communication system, there is requirement of international group of standards. These standards will fit with the framework which has been developed by the International Organization of Standardization, that is ISO. And this framework is called as Model for Open System Interconnection or OSI, and it is normally referred to as OSI reference model. So here we talk about OSI reference model. In this model, one of the main features is that it formally defines and confines the concept of layered network architecture. It uses well-defined operational descriptive layers that describe what happens at each stage in the processing of data for transmission. This layering concept is extremely important because networks are non-trivial systems. In figure, we show 7-layer architecture of ISO OSI reference model. It defines 7 layers or layer in a complete communication system. The lowest layer is called physical layer and the highest one is called application layer. A more detailed reference, that is OSI reference model, is shown in figure 1. The OSI model shown in figure 1 does not contain the physical medium. This model is based on proposal developed by the International Standard Organization ISO. It is called as ISO OSI Open System Interconnection Reference Model because it is designed to deal with open system, that is the system which are open for communication with each other. So it is basically a 7-layer architecture in which there is a function of each layer. Physical layer is called layer 1. In this physical layer make and break connection which define voltage and data rate, convert data bits into electrical signal. It decides whether transmission is simplex, half duplex or full duplex. Next is called data link layer, that is called layer 2. This is used for synchronization, error detection and correction, and it is used to assemble outgoing messages into frames. Third layer, that is called layer 3, is called network layer. This network layer is used for routing of the signals and it is used to divide the outgoing messages into packets, and it is act as network controller for routing data. Fourth layer is called transport layer. The function of the transport layer is to decide whether transmission should be parallel or single path, multiplexing, splitting or segmenting the data, and it is used to break data into smaller units for efficient handling. Layer 5 is called session layer. The function of the session layer is to manage and synchronize conversation between two systems. It controls logging on and off, user identification, billing and session management. Sixth layer is called presentation layer. This layer works as a translating layer. And the last layer, that is layer 7, is called application layer. Application layer is used to retransferring files of information. So we can say that the Open System International, that is OSI model, is a way of specifying communication protocols to make it easier to design them for compatibility among different systems. There are 7 layers of the OSI model. Here, all the applications need not use all the 7 layers that is shown in figure. The lower 3 layers are enough for most of the application. Each layer is built from electronic circuit and software and has a separate existence for the remaining layer. Each layer is supposed to handle message or data from the layers which are immediately above or below it. This is done by following the protocol's rules. Thus, each layer takes data from the adjacent layer, handle it according to these rules and thus pass to the processing data to the next layer on the other side. So this is a block diagram of OSI reference model. Here the left side is called host A and the right side is called host B, and there is a communication between host A and host B. In both hosts there are 7 layers. So in this, all the applications are not used by the 7 layer. The lower 3 layers are enough for most of the application. So here we see that the lower 3 layers are enough for most of the applications. Next we go briefly and we talk about the function of different layers. First, the layer 1. Layer 1 is called physical layer. The function of the physical layer are: it is used to activate, maintain and deactivate the physical connection. Also, it defines voltage and data rates that is needed for transmission. It is used to convert the digital bits into electrical signal, and it is used to decide whether the transmission is simplex, half duplex or full duplex. But the physical layer does not perform two operations. First is called, it does not detect or correct errors. Also, it does not decide the medium for modulation. And the examples of physical layer protocols are RS-232 or RS-449 standards. The next layer, that is layer 2, is called data link layer. The function of data link layer are synchronization and error control for the information which is to be transmitted over physical layer. To enable any error detection, this data link layer add error detection bits to the data which are to be transmitted. So this encoded data are then passed to the physical layer. These error detection bits are used by the data link layer on the other side to detect and correct the errors. At this level, the outgoing message are assembled into frames and the system waits for the acknowledgement to be received after every frame transmitted. After this, correct operation of the data link layer ensures reliable transmission of each message. And the example of data link layer protocols are HDLC, SDLC and X25 protocols. Third layer is called network layer. The function of the network layer are: it is used to route the signal through various channels to the other end. It also acts as a network controller by deciding which route data should take, and it is used to divide the outgoing messages into packets and to assemble incoming packets into messages for the high level. In short, we say that the network layer acts as a network controller for routing data. The layer 4 is called transport layer. As the name suggests, this layer provides the transport service, and the function of transport layer are: it decides if the data transmission should take place on parallel path or single path. It also does many functions such as multiplexing, splitting or segmenting of the data. Transport layer guarantees transmission of data from one end to the another. Its function is to break the data group into smaller units so that they can handle more efficiently by the network layer. And the layer 5 is called session layer. The function of this session layer is: this layer manages and synchronizes conversion between two different applications. This is the level at which the user will establish system-to-system connection. The session layer control logging on and off. It is user identification, billing and session management. In the transmission of data from one system to another, at session layer, streams of data are marked and resynchronized properly so that the ends of messages are not cut prematurely and the data loss is avoided. And the layer 6 is called presentation layer. Presentation layer make it sure that the information is delivered in such a form that the receiving system will understand and use it. The form and syntax and language of the two communication system can be different. For example, one system is using ASCII code for file transfer and the other one uses IBM. So under such conditions, the presentation layer provides the translation from ASCII code to EBCDIC and vice versa. And the last, that is layer 7, is called application layer. Application layer is at the top as shown in figure. It provides different services such as manipulation of information in various ways, retransferring the file of information, distributing the result, etc. and can be used by a user which is sitting above this layer. Also, the functions such as login or password checking are also performed by the application layer. Now, let us go into detail of each and every layer. First is exchange of information using OSI model. At the physical layer, communication is direct, that is, machine X sends a stream of bit to machine Y. At the higher layer, each layer in the sending machine adds its own information to the message it received from the layer just above it and passes the whole package to the layer just below it, that is shown in figure. The information added by each layer is in the form of header and trailers. The headers are added to the message at the layers 6, 5, 4, 3 and 2. A trailer is added at layer 2. At layer 1, the entire package is converted to a form that can be transferred to the receiving machine. At the receiving machine, the message is unwrapped layer by layer, with each process receiving and remove the data meant for it. The upper OSI layer are always implemented in software 4, 5, 6 and 7, and the lower layers are a combination of hardware and software, that is 2 and 3, except for physical layer, which is mostly hardware. Layer 1, 2 and 3, that is physical, data link and network, are the network support layers. They deal with the physical aspects of moving data from one device to another, such as electrical specification, physical connection, physical addressing, transport timing and reliability. Layer 4, the transport layer, ensures end-to-end reliable data transmission. Layer 5, 6 and 7, that is session, presentation and application, they allow interoperability among unrelated software systems. So this is the operation, that is exchange of information using OSI model between transmitter and receiver. Here, the physical layer. Physical layer is responsible for sending bits from one computer to another. The physical layer is not concerned with the meaning of the bits, but it deals with physical connection to the network and with transmission and reception of signals. The physical layer is used to define physical and electrical details such as what will represent a 1 or 0, how many pins a network will have, how data will be synchronized, and when the network adapter may or may not transmit the data, the position of the physical layer with respect to transmission medium, and the data link layer that is shown in figure. So it can be concluded that the function of physical layers are as follows. First is, it is used to define the type of encoding, that is, how zeros and ones are changed to signals. It is used to define the transmission rate, that is the number of bits transmitted per second. It is used to deal the synchronization of the transmitter and receiver. It is used to deal with network connection types, including multi-point and point-to-point connections. It is used to deal physical topologies, that is bus, star, ring or mesh. It is used to deal with the media bandwidths, that is baseband and broadband transmission. It is used for multiplexing, which deal with the combination of several data channels into one. It is used to define the characteristics between the device and transmission medium, and it is used to define the transmission mode between two devices, whether it should be simplex, half duplex or full duplex. And the connecting devices which are associated with physical layers are passive hubs, simple active hubs, terminators, couplers, cable and cablings, connectors, repeaters, multiplexers, transmitters, receivers, transceivers, all are associated with the physical layer. Next is data link layer. Data link layer is responsible for reliable node-to-node delivery of the data. It accepts packets from the network layer and form frames and give it to the physical layer that is shown in figure. And following are the function of data link layer. First is called framing. Data link layer is used to divide the stream of bits received from the network layer into manageable data units called as frames. After this, physical addressing takes place. In this, it adds a header to the frame to define the physical address of the sender and receiver of the frame. Next function is flow control. It provides the flow control mechanism to avoid a faster transmitter from overrunning a slow receiver by buffering the extra bits. Next function is error control. Error control is achieved by adding a trailer at the end of the frame. It is also used as a mechanism to prevent duplication of frames. Next function is access control. The data link layer protocol determines which of the device has control over the link at any given time when two or more devices are connected to the same link. The Institution of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, that is IEEE, felt the need to define the data link layer in more details. So they split it into two sub-layers. First is called Logical Link Control, that is LLC, and second is called Media Access Control, that is MAC. Logical Link Control LLC is used to establish and maintain links between the communicating devices. The function of the Media Access Control, that is MAC, it controls the way multiple devices share the same media channel. The Logical Link Control sub-layer provides service access points that the other computers can refer to and use to transfer information from LLC to the network layer. The MAC sub-layer provides for shared access to the network adapter and communicate directly with the network interface cards. The network interface cards, that is NIC, has a unique 12-digit hexadecimal MAC address assigned before they leave the factory where they are manufactured. And the key point is that the MAC address are used to establish logical link between two computers on the same LAN. Bridges, intelligent hubs and network interface cards are devices which are associated with the data link layer. Next is called network layer. The main function of this layer is to deliver packets from source to destination across multiple networks or links. If two systems are interconnected on the same link, there is no need for the network layer. The relationship of the network layer to the data link and transport is shown in figure. The function of the network layer is to translate logical network address into physical machine addresses, that is the number which is used as designed IDs in the physical network cards. It is used to determine the quality of service by deciding the priority of message and the route, and a route message will take if there is several ways of message can get into the destination. Its function is to break the larger packets into smaller packets. If the packets is larger than the largest data frame, the data link will accept. It is concerned with circuit, message and packet switching. It provides connection services including network layer flow control, network layer error control and packet sequence control. Routers and gateways operates in the network layer. Next layer is called transport layer. Transport layer is responsible for source to destination delivery of the entire message. It ensures that the whole message arrives intact and in order, ensuring both error control and flow control at the source to destination level. As shown in figure, the relationship of transport layer to the network layer and session layer. The function of the transport layer is it divides each message into packets at the source and reassembles them at the destination. The transport layer header H4 includes a service point address to deliver a specific process from source to the specified process at the destination. The transport layer can be either connectionless or connection oriented. It performs end-to-end flow control rather than control a single link. It makes sure that the entire message arrives at the receiving transport layer without any error. Next is called session layer. The job of the session layer is to establish, maintain and synchronize the interaction between the communication system. As shown in figure, there is a relationship of the session layer to transport layer and the presentation layer. The function of the session layer is it allows two systems to start a dialogue with each other. The communication initiated between the two processes can either in half duplex or full duplex. The session layer allows addition of checkpoints, that is synchronization point into a stream of data. In case of crash, doing the transmission of data can be retransmitted from the checkpoint in spite of retransmitting it from the start. Next is called presentation layer. This layer takes care of the syntax and semantics of the information exchange between the two communicating systems. The relationship between the presentation layer and the application layer is shown in figure. The function of the presentation layer is it translates data between formats. The network requires and the format of the computer accepts, that is ASCII and EBCDIC. Presentation layer does the protocol conversion. For security and privacy purpose, it carries out encryption at the transmitter and decryption at the receiver. It carries out data compression to reduce the bandwidth of the data to be transmitted. Next is called application layer. It is the topmost layer of the OSI model. It provides service that directly support user applications such as database access, email and file transfer. It allows application to communicate with application of the other computer as though they were on the same computer. The relationship of the application layer to the user and the presentation layer is shown in figure. Here the application layer creates a software emulsion of the terminal at the remote host, that is called network virtual terminal. The user's computer talks to the software terminal, then the software terminal talks to the host and vice versa. The remote host feels that it is communicating with one of its own terminal and allow you to log in. The application layer provides file transfer access and management, that is FTAM, which allow user to access file in the remote computer, to retrieve files from a remote computer and to manage the control file to the remote computer. It provides a basis for emails forwarding and string. Application layer provides distributed data, base source and access to the worldwide information about various objects and services. So this is a complete description of OSI model. There is some merits of OSI reference model. OSI reference model distinguish very clearly between the services, interfaces and protocols. The protocols in OSI models are better hidden, so they can be easily replaced by new protocols as the technology changes. OSI model is truly a general model. This model supports connection oriented as well as the connection less services. But there is some disadvantage or demerits of OSI model. Session and presentation layer are not much used, so this is the demerit. This model are devised before the protocols were invented. So in the real life there is a problem of fitting protocols into a model. Next we talk about network topologies. There are simple physical topologies. Physical topologies has a physical layout of nodes on the network. They have three fundamental shapes: bus, ring, star. They may create hybrid topologies also. Topology integral to types of network, cabling infrastructure and transmission media is used. So in topologies there are three types: bus, ring and star. These topologies are integrated by a present network. Cabling infrastructure are used for these topologies, and also media is used as a transmission in this network topologies. First is called bus topologies. A bus topology consists of single cable, that is called a bus. It connect all the nodes on a network without connectivity devices. So in this figure we see a bus topology. In this one single bus is running through which many nodes are connected. These nodes consist of computers. In bus topology there is advantages. With the help of bus topology, work is well for small networks. It is relatively inexpensive to implement and easy to add it on. Disadvantage of bus topology is this: the management cost can be high, and the potential of congestion, crowding with network traffic increases. So these are the disadvantage and advantage of bus topology. Because of these disadvantages, we move to next topology, that is called ring topology. In ring topology, each node is connected to the two nearest nodes, so the entire network form a circle. One method for passing data on ring network is token passing. In ring topology, a token system is used. In this, a token passing around a ring, the token passing is a channel access method where the signal cannot be called a token is passed between the nodes that authorize the nodes to communication. In ring topologies there are also advantages. It is easy to manage, easier to locate a defective nodes or cable problems, well suited for transmitting signal over a long distance on a LAN, handles high volume network traffics, enables reliable communication. Disadvantage of ring topology is it is expensive, require more cable and network equipment at the start. It is not used as widely as bus topology. Fewer options for expansion to high speed communication. So these are advantage and disadvantage of ring topologies. Next is called star topology. In star topology, every node on the network is connected through a central device. This is a central device called a hub. This hub is connected by all the nodes and form a star. So this is called a star topology. In star topology, any single cable connected only one devices, and the cabling problem affects two nodes at most, required more cabling than ring or bus network. It is more fault tolerant, easily moved, isolated or interconnected with other network. It is a scalable. Advantage of star topology is it is a good option for modern network. It has a low startup cost, easy to manage, offer opportunities for expansion. Most popular topology is used, widely variety of equipment available. Disadvantage is hub is a single point of failure. If the hub is failed, all the star topology is completely damaged. There is requirement of more cable than the bus. So these are the disadvantage of star topologies.